I'm not going to be very formal with this discussion, and I'll keep it as free-flowing as possible. I know the format is that I'm going to introduce and speakers are going to talk and people are going to listen. But it would be great if we could get questions and make it a little more interactive and more chatty than just people listening and just talking and going home. We'll break the format. I hope Ravi is okay with it, but we'll see. I am Udita. I represent Artsmith. It's a specialized sports and esports PR agency, and I think we're the only one who does that in India. And I would like to welcome, firstly, Mr. Jay. And Jay is the founder, Orangutan, and he's one of the, I would say, original, the OGs of esports. Thank you so much. Rohit Agarwal. Hi, Rohit, founder, Alpha Gigas, one of the leading influencer agencies, especially in the PC gaming context. Sonali, I think, is not yet here. I have Dipanshi, popularly known as Ruby. I'm sure you all know her. She's going to represent us, the influencer community, and of course, she is a women gamer, and I'm very, very proud that we have two women sitting here in esports, supposedly a male bastion, but we are here, and we are here to stay. So thank you so much, everyone. I mean, look, the topic is that ROI in esports, right? Big topic, everybody talks about a lot of numbers. I've been hearing those numbers, and so I have a very curious thing going on in my head that we have huge potential. India is 1.4 billion. Everybody uses smartphones, so there is a lot of internet, cheap internet, so possibility-wise it's immense. So the people who are into it, so we're going to ask some very, very strong questions today to see how true is it in terms of the money going to the bank, because very important, right? So my first question is this a time when we're talking about this huge opportunities, and if I look at the agency estimates, it says that 3 billion, it will cross 3 billion when it comes to global esports market by 2025. Are you ready to splurge as organizations, as agencies, as communities? Are you going to save right now? What is the first thought? I mean, enough money to spend or save and wait? So my question is it a winter time or it's all set for the spring?
So I'll take it up first. I think the industry has evolved in a very different way. Right from COVID. COVID is when the boom in the whole esports industry took place. I think when PUBG got banned and BGMI came back, the excitement around the sport was a lot. Lot of different organizations like ourselves, came into existence. A lot of good organizations were formed at that point in time, and everyone was very positive and had the money in the bank to kind of splurge and actually make a name for themselves, because there were a lot of other players in the market existing and had done some good work in the past. So to kind of compete with them and put ourselves on the map, we had to get the best players, make a brand out of ourselves, create the fan base that we were trying to capture. But one of the things which we have observed in the last 2.5, 3 years since COVID is games getting banned, coming back, inconsistency, because there was a point where we used to start, we reached a high, and because of the government taking serious actions against the games, we had to fall down and start back from zero. So I think that was one of the reasons why there were a lot of ups and downs within the industry. And to answer your question, I feel in the last 2.5 years, the market has corrected itself. The perception that people had earlier, it's not the same. Organizations had the money. to start and get a kickstart to build something within this space. And that's what newer organizations have done that like ours. We had to splurge money, or we had to, I wouldn't say splurge is the right word, but we had to invest money at the right places to create that brand value, to create value within the organization. There was not a lot of professionalism, which different organizations tried to bring that in, and that comes at a cost. It's not free. You have to hire good people. You have to hire teams to get brands. So I think to build the structure, the money was spent. The money was spent to build this industry. So, but now obviously we are at a time when all the games have come back. There's a lot of inflation, but it's not sustainable if this carries on. So there's definitely a winter time in esports, and it has been there for a while. We thought games coming back will kind of change that, and it will, but it's just taking longer than it should.
Expected.
So yeah, I think we as an organization personally are a lot more mindful with our expenses. Month on month, we think about cost cutting, we think about what's adding value, what's not adding value. Do you need to keep a particular roster? Can you make the same amount of revenues letting go of a particular roster? So those things kind of are always in discussion. And at the end of the day, see, valuation games and all are very different. This is not a business where you're going to grow from 1 to 100x in 2 years, 3 years. We are a very linear model, most of us, I think. And that is what people need to realize. We are more like an IPL team rather than a tech platform. So till people and investors and whoever's within this ecosystem don't realize that, there's a very wrong perception, I feel, within the whole industry that मैं पैसा raise कर दूंगा and I'll fund these operations, and reality is not that. So I think you have to run it as sustainable businesses. You have to run it as a profitable business at the end of the day, because lot of, you've seen Web3, you've seen RMG platforms, everyone's going through tough times. So and you don't want our industry to be at that point. So, and everyone, I think, is realizing that.
No, very, very honestly said, Jay. Rohit, I want to bring you into this because, like he said, I mean, if VC is putting in the money, we can spend as much as we want, but that money is going to finish, right, at some point. And I think this is a time when the finishing lines are a little clearer than it was yesterday. You with influencers, of course, you have a set of influencers probably who demand a certain set of money. A brand also agrees. But how do you create that, take away the disparity? You want to create a more inclusive way of putting all your influencers, right? Everybody has some quality or the other. How do you justify that with a brand? Because that's always going to be, oh, I want these 5 guys and nothing beyond that. How is that process and versus the ROI of it?
So first of all, hello. Working? Okay. So first of all, Udita, thank you so much for having all of us in the panel today. I actually had like one small thought I wanted to share about your previous question, which was about winter, spring, and all of that. Think of it this way, that every industry in India has its own Diwali season. Okay, हर किसी की खुद की दिवाली होती है. Tourism segment might have its Diwali during the summer vacation of kids. Yeah. A Navratri singer would have their Diwali during Navratri. And so by definition, Diwali hona is the peak time of the year.
Correct.
When you maximize your potential, you maximize your resources, you maximize your ROI, right? Now, considering that every industry has a different Diwali for itself, the idea is that everyone needs to prepare for that Diwali season throughout the year, right? So I just feel like, yes, winters do exist in terms of, whether it's VC money coming in, or whether it's a slowdown in the industry as a whole or whatsoever. But the moment we all start defining that, okay, this is going to be our Diwali,
Right.
and this is what we are going to prepare for, is when, that motivation, that, like alignment of resources, alignment of funds starts coming in. Okay, like gradually we have to get it to this point when our Diwali starts in.
Right.
Now, coming to the question, and it's actually a continuation to this answer. So you rightly said that, a brand would probably come to us and be like, hey, these are the 5 people that we want.
Yeah.
And maybe as an agency, we have a slightly different perspective that these might not be the right 5, or there is a different way we can look at the whole thing, package the whole thing. So what happens is, as an agency, as an organization, or as someone who is representing talents, what is also critical is showcasing the value to a brand that, okay, this is not just a transactional thing that आपने पैसे दिए और इन्होंने post डाल दी, story डाल दिया, कुछ भी. It's basically like, whether it's one person or whether it's 5 people, together, what kind of an entourage can they create, and that entourage, what kind of a content can they deliver, or what kind of an impact they can deliver, where instead of paying, let's say, 10,000 rupees per person to 5 people, you probably pay like, a lump sum, let's say 80,000 rupees, but that 80,000 rupees will have a lot more impact because these 5 people gel together. These 5 people have a content strategy to promote your brand or your event better. They will, probably show up together. They will interact with the audience as, like we are all, best friends or whatsoever. And this is not only for on ground, like even online for that matter. The value, that extra value which goes beyond a deliverable is where, the monetary segmentation starts coming in. So probably until about a year or 2 ago, the scenario was a little different because the number of creators compared to before versus now is drastically different, right? There are a lot more creators that have come into this space. Brands have a lot more options in terms of who they want to work with. And a greater challenge is your media tools are becoming stronger, right? So even a brand always questions, okay, yeah, why should I not invest in a media tool, but invest in a creator, right? And the only way to justify that is not कि आपको इतना reach आएगा, impressions आएगा, because you can never beat media in that sense, right? The only metric where you can convince a brand and beat media is कि audience के साथ कितना connection build होगा, which a media asset, it's quite difficult for a media asset to create that emotional bond.
Yeah.
And that's where our recommendation of 1 creator, 5 creators, 10 creators come in. कि their connection with the target audience is going to be a lot stronger compared to the media ads that you run. And how are we ensuring that this connection happens?
It is a lot like advertising versus PR, right? It is the
Absolutely,
earned is what respect, and buy is okay. Will not comment on that. Yeah, okay. Is she there? Oh, Sonali, please come in, come in. I didn't realize, sorry. So Sonali is also an art. So we have 3 women, okay? I'm really proud of this. Thank you so much. So, I mean, that brings rightly so that 2 of you are here and you represent the influencer community. How, because I have 2 questions, and sorry, but I'm going to be very blunt in asking both the questions. One is, like he said, it's more of judiciously having a money from a brand and then deciding on the approach of it rather than just saying, okay, X person has this many followers, so she's the best or he's the best. When it comes to your plate, how do you guys absorb it to give it more value and sustainable approach to ROI? It's just not about the reach, the connection, right? He talked about the connection. Now, how do you define that? Because end of the day, brand would still want a KPI, which is a definable KPI, right?
So thank you so much, Udita. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. So, like he said, the brands are looking for like some kind of influencers which they want to represent as their the brand value or something to increase the brand value. And as he said, yes, like according to the brand, these X5 people may represent them much more better, but according to the organization head, I think they better know how, like the creators they are having, who will give the most impactful version to the brand, the things they are asking for. So yeah, I would say, as he said, the connection, the value the creator is having and holding to give the brand. I think that what matters the most. The as you said, there was media behind. There was like, how do you count the numbers? It was according to the like the newspapers, the headlines, and there was not, the appropriate measurements, the exact calculations. But now we have so many, the insights and everything. We have like developed media, and then we have, so many new technologies, so we can get the exact numbers what we are talking about. But again, before going into numbers, the obviously the thing we want as a creator, as an influencer, is what we want, how we are interacting with our audience and how we are giving them what the brand wants, but what the audience would love in the way they want. So again, like I have my audience, and I have been like into different platforms. I would say I've been like, I'm a medical student myself. So I'm a medical student, and I'm doing this gaming thing too, because I have a passion for it. And I have done the fashion also. So it's like I'm doing the medical is my base, but I'm doing different things, and I'm exploring, and I came out like I have a passion for gaming. So I feel like when I interact with my audience, I like, take the audience of a study group too, and then I'll say the gaming one, the fashion one. And so I would say that there are some creators or influencers who would interact with them in their own personal level, and they'll share their story. So people will get, obviously they'll connect themselves that, yeah, if he or she is doing that much things, why can't we? And people will try to move forward more into their passions. And again, the brand, what they want, the brand wants to, they want that, they just don't want that we are giving the money, or we are splurging the money, and then we'll get the profit in a, very short time. It will take a long time, obviously, but as an influencer, we are connecting with them, we are taking the brand to a value, so we're giving so much things. So I feel like that it would be the great investments they are doing. And obviously it will, as you said, the Diwali, one day it will come, and then in a year the things will go around, and like people will notice everything, and the brand will like look forward into it. So I feel like, yeah, that's the way we interact with people, like my audience, or that's the way influencers interact with their audience, by sharing what goes behind the things, which generally many people don't do that, like, but as in a public platform, we have to. And I feel like that's the most honest thing we do. If we're sharing something very honestly, I feel like people take it in a very positive way. So I think the positivity, the value, the brand image we are creating, that what matters at the end of the thing, the industry. And I feel like, yes, because of that, the industry and more brands are seeing value into it. Like before, it was only the gaming, the sponsorships, and only the gaming companies will invest in it. But now the things are growing more, and I would say, like my colleague would get a great sponsorship from Veromoda, a fashion brand. But we are into gaming community. So they are trying out different, because they know that the person or the creator will give them that much impact as a fashion influencer, but also as a gaming influencer or a gaming creator, they would also give them that impact to the brand which they want. So I would like to say that, yeah, that would be a very great thing. And I think the connection, the valuability, the brand image the creators would give them, that is the basic and the foremost line, I would say, that would be like giving to the brand. So I think that would be a great thing.
Amazing, amazing. Just to bring you, Sonali, there, what Dubi just said. So you understand the pulse of your own audience, right? Do you think it can be better, or do you do that? I'm just asking that question and bringing to rest of it to both Jay and Rohit next. How often are you involved, or you're not, in the strategy of approach, right? The brand thinks that this is what I want. You may have a different mindset because you have a better understanding of your audience, right? Do they do that, or you think it should be done? How is it like right now?
Thank you, Udita, for this question. Every time I am approached with a campaign from a brand, the first thing I ask my agency is, what is their end goal? What do they want to achieve out of this campaign? That when I know what they're trying to achieve, it is easier for me to put it into my videos or however I'm trying to promote it. So that is the first question I ask. And once I understand what they're trying to achieve, then it is easier for me to craft it in my video the way it can be most impactful to my audience. Because I understand my audience better than the brand does any day, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's what I always do. But I think when a brand approaches an influencer or a creator, I think they really definitely should understand what kind of audience the influencer is going to bring to the table. Because every creator has a different group of audience. A few creators can have audience that are, probably going to school. A few creators may have audience, that are older in age, probably working, more matured, things like that. So I think definitely a brand should consider that every creator is an individual and is very different from the other creator. And I mean, based on their requirement, I'm sure the agencies distribute campaigns according to that.
Rohit, I mean, like she said, and I'm sure you'd want to understand, in terms of the money given and the success metrics of an ROI, right? How are there any 5 things? I mean, and I don't want the usual things, the ones which are the problematic part of it. How do you address that? Like, what is those problematic parts, number one, and how do you address that in the success metrics of it?
So, Udita, see, success metrics, again, if I were to go in the age-old formula, which is your CPV, CPM, those kind of metrics, I would say when it comes to content creators, the only and only metric that exists and should matter is the word impact. Okay. Now, impact is a broader term. And, in PR also, impact is a very, very important term that comes in. And impact is something that cannot be measured in a CPV, CPM model. Okay. Impact for any brand would be different. For some, it would be impact for me is 20 people talking about my brand, saying good things, saying positive things that are coming from their heart. For one brand, the other brand, impact would be that 50 people showing up at my event with full honesty, full energy, and just having a gala time there, right? So genuinely, like one of the hardest things that we face, and kind of the most time we spend with when interacting with a brand is that, sir, why don't you tell us what impact means to you from this particular campaign? And let's not talk about reach, impressions and all, because that is something that we can do a bit of media push to it. There are many other tools you can use to hit the numbers, right? But I'm sure you're not doing an influencer campaign just for the sake of hitting numbers, but 2 steps beyond that in terms of impact. So although, you would want me to address 5 things, I would say they are all 5 coming under this one single word of impact, that if a brand is able to clearly define what impact means to them, I as an agency would be easily able to define to a creator that this is what impact is. Now let's do everything in our energy to make this impact happen, right? Whether you you want to like go an extra mile. You want to, you know, tell the brand that, hey, can I have some additional giveaways for my audience to do? You know, can I, you know, invite someone else into my content, because together we can create a bigger impact. So as long as the word impact gets clearly defined by all three parties, which is the brand, agency, and the creator, everything else will fall in place. But if we are not able to, then we are all just a herd of people trying to achieve CPV, CPM models.
Yeah, true. Jay, it says that, you know, the growth rate is about 17.2% CGR in the next 5 years when it comes to video market in India, for gamers and revenue generations. If that is so, you run an organization which has multiple teams for various games. You have sponsors, you've expanded into other areas as well. How do you see, is this like really the reality of, as he said, the impact? Because if you want to make impact, you have to go out of the box. But at times, out of the box don't earn you that money. So how do you do that balance, and how do you come out of it to really become a profitable organization?
So I'll just continue to what Rohit was saying. I think there are two types of brands in the market. There are brands who are actually looking for those metrics like your CPMs, engagement rates, reach, impression. And these are brands, these are mostly the MNCs, the guys who have been running bigger businesses for a long time. And then there are brands who are looking at impact. If I have to actually take names, and we worked with both kinds of brands. There's a brand called Creo, who's one of our sponsors. And what our conversations are is, don't tell me the numbers. And even if you get 100 likes, I need impact on that. Or if I get 1,000 likes, I need impact on that. And that's how we approach the brand, and that's how we deal with it internally. Then there are brands like 2Yum and TVS. These are bigger brands. They are like, मुझे ये deliverable करना है, मुझे ये, I have to hit these numbers, whether it's through performance marketing, it's through boosting the posts, it's through doing whatever, but I have to achieve that. And I have to show my team that I'm doing all these things. And these are two different types of marketing managers or CMOs of companies, because at the end, and you have to cater to both. So when you try to catch the bigger fish, you might not have the numbers. Today, as an organization, we don't have the biggest numbers, but we have the most number of brands. And that is because we understand what brands want. If brands, and it's okay, brands not always want impact, and you have to be okay with it. So that's how you kind of deal with it. And so that was just my thought on what Rohit was mentioning. Like I think the younger generation, the newer startups are looking at impact. The bigger established ones are looking at us as a medium of advertising, because they have their primary things set where they are hitting their numbers, and okay, this is like a trial
New
and test
avenue
model.
to try. Yeah.
Exactly. Coming to, you know, brands and sponsorships and how I think you know, we make money. We have multiple sources of revenue. I think the biggest source of revenue at the moment is sponsorships, because we are very different when it comes to cracking deals. Just like Rohit and his organization might have you know, a brand doing a campaign with an X number of creators. When we lock a brand, we lock them for a long period of time, and not just one, but multiple brands. Even our esports athletes are kind of influencers or creators in a way. So, you know, all the marketing, all the influencer part is, you know, fulfilled by them. But we provide a lot more than that. We do a lot of content ourselves on our channels, which is what brands are looking at. Also the jersey visibility, the branding aspect comes from them. So yeah, I think, you know, sponsorship is one of the biggest sources of revenue. Now, how sustainable it is probably the biggest question a lot of people ask. When you're running, see, at the end of the day, brand is looking how much value. If they are putting in 1 crore rupees into an organization like us, and you have to deliver. So it's a very basic, you know, how there are multiples when it comes to sponsorships. Just like how you raise money and you get some valuation based on your revenue multiples. Similarly, in sponsorships, why do people sponsor? Sponsorship is mainly, instead of doing one campaign, I'm committing for a long period with you, and for that you give me a discount or you give me more value. I'll give you actual numbers. Media value, and I think that term is very familiar with everyone. So today, if anyone is paying me 1 crore, I have to at least deliver media value worth 4 crore.
Yeah.
And only when I'm able to achieve that is when, brands will see value. That is why, sponsorship is a lot more, if the brand is confident and is willing to, be in this space for a long period of time, that is what they do. So if you see Nordwin, if you see us, all of us are cracking those long-term deals. Everyone is trying to do that. Even agency now are trying to realize that, okay, let's do this, and you pay us monthly an X amount of money, and so I think that's a more sustainable approach. But if you're not able to deliver value, and games getting banned, and that inconsistency within the industry has been the biggest challenge. When games are banned, where do you show value? If they've paid you an X amount, you've not delivered value of that amount as well. So
Right.
I think there's a lot of sustainability thing that needs to be solved within the industry, and till more, I feel we are at a stage where non-endemic brands are trying to explore the market. They are not confident yet. Few are happy who are consistently investing, but there are so many brands out there. You can't just take names of 5-6 brands and say, oh, non-endemic brands are also investing in this space. It's a very misleading sentence to kind of say in media as well. It's good that there are 7-8 brands who've already started, but when you're comparing to 1,000 brands, it's a very small number compared to other sports titles that you see.
So a Group M report said there were 72 brands that invested last year, right? So those 72 brands, the number looks amazing. I mean, but does it translate into money? Like, because you guys are the ones who are earning out of it. If the 72 of them have done, then some part of the revenue has definitely come to your share of it, right?
I think these reports are also, again, you have to, if you read it, esports is not like cricket. It's not just one sport. Esports has 100 different titles, right from Tekken to, so there's a Kingfisher who's sponsoring an X tournament. There is a TVS who's sponsoring an X tournament. So obviously, we are not present in all those 100 games, and that's why those 72 brands get divided. If you now specifically break that report up and ask Group M or anyone, or you do your own research and figure out how many non-endemic brands have invested in BGMI as a game, that number will, I think, be 10% of what it is. So I think
do you
that's
think
the
in the
difference.
course correction process, one of the major thing is that expanding as a community, whether it is an agency or an org or an influencer, coming together and putting it out to brands that, this is where esports, because see, today RNG is almost gone. There are taxation issues. The best bet is esports. Now, how do you make value going forward?
I think the form of entertainment what esports is providing right now is super. It is the best way to kind of engage with the Gen Z audience, and I feel the way it's developing, it's shaping out as an industry, it's great. Like, just to give you an example of BGIs that took place at NSCI Dome, massive. I don't think any kabaddi event has seen that much of audience waiting outside the stadium to get in. And that is the power of esports. Now brands need to realize that, different organizations like us need to bring that as an opportunity to brands to invest in. So I think going ahead, all these offline tournaments and esports coming closer to the fans is what is going to create that real sport factor, and we are seeing that in the recent times. And I feel expanding the community is always going to be an ongoing process. There's no end to it. I feel even the communities that we are reaching out to the same communities again and again and again. So I think a lot of cross collaborations, a lot of different, influencers or different non-gaming personalities entering this space is going to give that cross-pollination of the communities, and that is very important to happen at some point. So, and I think it will. It is just about matter of time when all this will realize. Tomorrow you'll see an actor owning a team. You'll see different IPL teams coming and participating in different tournaments with an existing huge fan bases and stuff. So it's just a matter of time when where they realize that there's a big opportunity coming in the market. I think everyone's just waiting. Everyone's just trying to, we are in a space where no one wants to make that mistake now. No one wants to, because that, investment winter is also going on. I think everyone's very, very mindful, right from investors to strategic guys who want to enter the space but are just hesitant. And yeah, but I think there are a lot of tournaments, a lot of different success stories that you're seeing, a lot of different organizations doing some good work, which is going to change that in the coming time.
So I think if you were to summarize that, the two reasons or the two ways in which you can get potential brands to invest, one is either proof of concept, like he was saying that they see what is happening, which is a proof of concept for them. The second one, which is the funnier one, is FOMO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
FOMO that either their competitors are investing and they are not yet, or FOMO that, this space is moving too fast. My audience exists in this space. This is the new cool thing in the market. Why am I not there? And this whole idea of new cool thing is what topical marketing is about, right? Like moment marketing is about. There is absolutely no reason why most of the brands need to ride the wave, right? They don't even they are not even relevant to ride a wave. But it's the aspect of FOMO that comes in, that everyone is talking about it. We need to talk about it. And,
The
that
wow
is,
moment, right? We all are talking about it
I
right
just-
now.
yeah, there's genuinely no need for a lot of brands to even ride a certain wave. But they do because FOMO ho raha hai. That's the cool new thing, sab ja rahe hai. Whether it's, once upon a time, the whole, blockchain, NFT conversation that existed. It's the fad, need to step in. Virtual reality, it's the fad, need to step in. So would either create FOMO or create proof of concept. These two things are the main drivers for potential sponsors to come in.
I don't think FOMO is sustainable. So how much ever we try to get brands, it's that quick buck
Yeah,
that you can make,
yeah.
but it's not sustainable.
So I think that journey of FOMO to being sustainability, a lot lies on your shoulders as influencers, because you're the one who's a connect to that content conversation, right? However a brand wants to spend money or an org is explaining things, you're the one who's taking it to more people. So when you do that, so I have this, again, a very basic question. Everybody says Gen Z is the audience, right, who needs to be tapped. Now, if I look at it from a brand buying concept, if, for example, someone wants to sell an expensive phone, right? Gen Z, even if they invest, do they have that much money, number one? If they at all have, they're going to buy one phone, right? Or one laptop or one whatever that is. After that, they're not going to come to you. Then is it even the right target? I'm putting that question. Or is it a course correction if that is the case? Do you also look at this other audience who is little 30 plus and little probably 35, so between 29 to 35? Is that a new audience to target? And because you have a sizable audience, do you see that that's somewhere you need to invest as well?
Can I take this up for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Just one thought, and then, over here, when we see it, honestly, when we are still millennials, but once upon a time we were the target audience, right? So that age band is what the target audience is, irrespective of whether you call it millennials, you call it Gen Z, Gen Y, whatsoever. Your question in terms of if it is an expensive item and if a Gen Z does not have the spending capability
Or return
or,
spending.
or return spending on it, then why, right? A very simple statement to that is, I have grown up with the idea that I want to own a Ferrari someday. Okay, that's my dream, that's my aspiration, right? Uh, the world keeps changing and creates new aspirations for you. Where probably once upon a time I would have dreamt, ke, I wish I had an iPhone, right? And I start working towards it. I start, like hustling, whatever, whatever. And one day I make my aspiration come true. A lot of brands, what they intend to do is this exact same thing, is even if you're, and you are at a stage in life, at an age in life, where your thoughts can be molded. Okay, they can be, like, you are in your clay phase where you can be molded. 30, 35 years of age, you are smart, you are financially informed, you have certain responsibilities. You're not going to make impulsive decisions, or what is right for you, you have studied why it's right for you, and not because, people are saying that it's the right thing to do. But at a more Gen Z age or that age, you are influenced by people around you. You are at a stage where aspirations can be molded in your head. And if at that stage agar bol diya gaya hai ki yaar, iPhone is the best thing that you can have in your life, you will start aiming ke yaar, I want to do everything possible, whether it's go and irritate my mom, whether it's go do side hustles to earn money, whether it's go start a crowdfunding, jo bhi. But mujhe wo chahiye to chahiye, because my mind can be molded.
And just to, sorry, add
I'll
to...
let the ladies
Yeah,
once take
okay.
that.
So, as you said, the Gen Z thing. So yeah, again, I was also dreaming at one point when I was like 16 that I'll also own a iPhone. At that time, I was not able to afford it, or my parents, I would say, but I feel like I made up my mind and I got influenced by that time of influencers that, yeah, I'll work hard my life, I'll work hard to own this. And at the age of this, I'm gonna do it that way. So I feel like that is what the targeting audience would be like. They would, encourage you to do that. So the Gen Zs, I would say, yeah, the next generation, the coming generation, what will name them, we don't know, but that would be the main target audience for the brands. So I feel like the upcoming generation and the generation we are dealing with, I feel like they are the ones who are like getting influenced and influencing other people. And I feel like, yeah, as he said, the age group of 30 plus, they know how to, invest their money. So they are not easily that much, what I would say that the X amount of money they are,
Influenced.
yeah, the X amount of money they are asking us to invest in that. They know how the thing works and they have been through that phase. So they know that amount of money, do I need to spend it on that much thing or do I not to? So they know like how much we are like, influencing them. And I feel like, yeah, everyone gets to connect with their audience. And I would say, yeah, like Gen Zs are like, oh, I'm not a Gen Z, but I feel like, theek hai. Right now they are leading the space. So I feel like, okay, fine, works for them.
Sonali?
Okay, until now, I used to think that what is this brand got to do with this audience base in BGMI? That's always, that's what I always thought. But after listening to Rohit, your perspective on the fact that these Gen Zs will grow up to invest into their brand in the future. So I think brands that are looking for a long-term return, I think this platform, BGMI or esports, is perfect for them. It could be a car. I mean, I used to think, what is a car brand doing at this tournament? I mean, who's gonna buy your car? People watching you are all kids. They can't
in
even.
fact, internationally, Mercedes sponsors tournaments.
That's
so, like,
true.
Why a Mercedes, dude? That's like a very big aspirational value.
That's true. I mean, that's what I used to think. But after listening to your perspective, actually, that is the right way to do it. I would say, if I were a brand looking at long-term returns, I mean, this is the perfect platform to invest in.
It's just, I feel like it's just like the cricket, in like old times, there were not that big brands like associating with cricket, but now it has been like in India, the sport, it has been become, I feel like every other brands, like what will a stock market brand will do with cricket? But like again, with what will they do with gaming? So I feel like they are right now thinking to invest in things. So I think the esports community is also growing that way, and I feel like as you said, the audience is divided into different games. But again, the main priority, what everyone wants, is the community to grow. So if it's growing in one game or either two or four, I think that would be a great thing to taking forward the esports community forward. Yeah. So I feel like yeah.
Jay, you had to say, but I will, there's not much of time left, but just one thing where we talked about community, we talked about brand, but one of the major thing is about media, right? Media rights. Because that is one of the biggest thing which will probably push the entire narrative to a different level. How do you see, we had Star, who showed Nodwin Gaming, right? Now we have Geo coming into it. How important is media rights going to be? I mean, it is important, but what is that needs to be done more? Because I'm assuming you and you representing many other teams, like it happens in IPL or in sports where when there is a tournament, the money also goes to the team, which still is an alien prospect probably in terms of esports, because it has to be sustainable in terms of ROI, then it has to be in the model of the same way, right?
I think you rightly pointed it. Just like any sports league in the world which is successful today has a sharing concept wherein whatever money the tournament league or the franchise league is earning is shared with all the stakeholders within the business. That's not happening in India right now because the tournaments themselves are not making a lot of money, and I think that is the reason why it's not started. But for any esports to become big and to be sustainable, at some point that has to kick in. Otherwise, you'll see a decline in the industry. There are so many positives taking place. Just to give you an example, there's a Sky Esports tournament happening in Bangalore, the Championship 5.0. Loco has just started their subscription model. So you can watch all the matches exclusively on Loco for 20 rupees in 3 days. 20 rupees is something that everyone has the spending capacity. But if 300,000 people or 400,000 people are going to subscribe to that to watch esports being played, I think
it's a game changer.
Yeah, that's a game changer. Till I think Loco or Sky Esports or like tournament organizers don't break even and make more money, I don't think it's fair to ask them to share that revenue with us as well. So I think this, when the media rights value start rising, and right now, I think IPL is 45,000 crore worth media value, which Geo is paying. Those are numbers you can't even expect in esports, but obviously 10, 15 years down the line, that's the
IPL
goal.
team took 10 years to
10
break
years,
even.
exactly. So first,
every IPL
I think
team.
just compare the same thing with esports teams right now. First 4 years, 5 years, everyone was losing money year on year. Then the next 4, 5 years, they started making money and they reached a break-even point. 8 years it took for them to break even, and then now probably each and every team is making 400 crore just lying in cash. This is excluding sponsorships and all the other revenues that they generate. So it's a long game that we are playing, and 110% it has to kind of kick in at some point, and we are seeing signs of that happening very soon. It's just, as I said, it's a matter of time and how patient, and whoever has the perseverance here to kind of hold and stay is who's going to benefit in the long run. So you'll see a lot of teams coming in, going, shutting down, coming in, starting new firms because the entry barrier is so low. But yeah, I think this is the most important thing for any league. Like it's already happening in League of Legends, in Dota 2, in Counter Strike. It started happening in Valorant franchise league. Even though they are paying $1 million over there, you're losing money. Even after so but it's that $1 million is also going to increase year on year. So I think those are the signs for, and India is such a big market. India, the viewership that we can generate, I don't think any other country would be able to generate. And we are at a very nascent stage, so it's just a matter of time where everyone is contributing, and that shared economy is what's going to help us.
So I think if I have to sum up everything, like, India has huge potentials. There are right people here. We have great people on the stage. There are so many here sitting and across. And I think it's about being there, sticking around, and don't try and do too many things. As in the racing parlance, we say, we got to rave up, but we have not started the race yet. We are just ready there, ready to pounce. I think that's where we would
It's a marathon, it's not a sprint race.
Exactly. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have it in red, time's up, so I got to shut up. So thank you so much. Thanks everyone.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.